Welcome, dear listeners, to a captivating journey through the remarkable story of Gideon, a figure whose life is etched in the pages of the Bible. In this script, we will explore the rich tapestry of events that shaped Gideon's journey and draw timeless lessons from his experiences. So, without further ado, let us step into the world of ancient Israel, where Gideon's story unfolds. As we begin our journey, we find ourselves in a tumultuous time in Israel's history. The Israelites were enduring a period of great suffering. Oppressed by the Midianites and living in fear, they were driven to seek refuge in mountain clefts and caves. This desperate situation sets the stage for the emergence of our hero, Gideon. Amidst this turmoil, an angel of the Lord appeared to Gideon while he was threshing wheat in a winepress to hide it from the Midianites. The angel greeted him with the words, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Astonishingly, Gideon, who saw himself as the least in his family and from the weakest clan, questioned this divine call. But God assured him, "I will be with you." Gideon's encounter with the angel marks the beginning of his transformative journey. Gideon was not a noble or a warrior by birth. He was an ordinary man, a farmer, thrust into extraordinary circumstances. His status and position in society were humble, but God often chooses the unlikely to accomplish great deeds. Gideon's humility and willingness to heed the divine call illustrate the principle that God looks at the heart rather than worldly status. One of Gideon's initial tasks was to tear down the altar of Baal and the Asherah pole in his father's house. This bold act of obedience brought him into direct conflict with the townspeople. Gideon's courage in dismantling these symbols of idolatry demonstrates the importance of challenging prevailing norms and standing up for what is right, even when faced with opposition. The call to action was not limited to Gideon alone. As news of his actions spread, the Spirit of the Lord came upon him. Gideon's obedience and faithfulness to God's calling inspired others to join him. This reminds us that our actions can have a ripple effect, motivating and encouraging those around us to stand for righteousness. As Gideon prepared to face the Midianites in battle, an astonishing directive came from the Lord. He was instructed to reduce the size of his army from thousands to a mere 300 men. This seemingly illogical decision underscored the principle that God's ways are not our ways. It teaches us that victory often comes through reliance on God's strength rather than our own numbers or strategies. Amidst doubts and fears, Gideon sought confirmation from the Lord. In response, God graciously provided signs, assuring Gideon of his presence and guidance. This teaches us the importance of seeking and trusting in divine confirmation when facing daunting challenges. God's faithfulness to Gideon serves as a reminder that he remains faithful to his promises in our lives. The day of battle arrived, and Gideon's small, unconventional army surrounded the Midianite camp. With trumpets, empty jars, and torches concealed within, they carried out a strategic and audacious attack. The unexpected victory illustrates that God's plans often defy human logic. It reminds us that courage and faith can lead to triumph, even in the face of overwhelming odds. Following the victory, Gideon sent messengers to the other tribes of Israel, urging them to join in pursuing the fleeing Midianites. This call for unity emphasizes the importance of collaboration and shared purpose in achieving common goals. Gideon's leadership evolved from a hesitant individual to a unifying force among the tribes. Now, let us reflect on the profound lessons we can glean from Gideon's extraordinary journey. Courage amidst inadequacy. Gideon's initial self-doubt didn't deter him from answering the divine call. His story teaches us that true courage often emerges when we acknowledge our inadequacies and trust in God's strength. Divine guidance. Gideon's reliance on God's guidance, from the initial call to the battle strategies, highlights the importance of seeking divine direction in our own lives. Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 reminds us to trust in the Lord with all our hearts. Humility. Gideon's humble status and willingness to obey divine commands remind us that God often chooses the humble and willing. As James 4 verse 10 states, "Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up." Overcoming fear. Gideon's journey from fear to bold leadership demonstrates that we can overcome fear through faith and obedience. In Isaiah 41 verse 10, we find assurance. "Do not fear, for I am with you." Trusting signs. Gideon's reliance on divine signs teaches us to trust the signs and confirmations God provides in our lives. Proverbs 3 verse 6 encourages us to acknowledge Him in all our ways. God's faithfulness. Gideon's encounters with God's faithfulness remind us that God keeps His promises. 2 Timothy 2 verse 13 assures us, "If we are faithless, He remains faithful." Obedience. Gideon's obedience, from tearing down idols to leading a small army, underscores the importance of obedience in fulfilling God's purpose. As 1 Samuel 15 verse 22 states, "To obey is better than sacrifice." Faith in adversity. Gideon's faith in the face of adversity inspires us to trust God's plan, even when it seems counterintuitive. Hebrews 11 verse 6 reminds us that faith pleases God. Leadership evolution. Gideon's transformation into a courageous leader reflects that leadership often evolves from embracing our weaknesses and God's strength. Philippians 4 verse 13 assures us, "I can do all things through Him who strengthens me." Never underestimate yourself. Gideon's story teaches us not to underestimate ourselves, even if others do. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, as Psalm 139 verse 14 declares. In conclusion, Gideon's journey from an ordinary farmer to a mighty warrior is a testament to the transformative power of faith, humility, and obedience. His story inspires us to confront our fears, seek divine guidance, and embrace our calling, no matter our circumstances or self-doubt. As we navigate life's challenges, may we draw strength from the timeless lessons embedded in the story of Gideon, knowing that, like him, we too can overcome.